clear.
Still in VFib.
I don't know where.
All right, charge the paddle to 200.
Will Grey's Anatomy really kill someone in that explosion? Season 22 theories explained. Grey's Anatomy fans are counting down the days until the Season 22 premiere on October 9th, and the biggest question still lingers. Will that shocking hospital explosion actually claim the life of a beloved doctor? Showrunner Meg Marinis recently hinted at several character fates. Teddy Altman and Owen Hunt, fresh off their breakup, are safe and heading into separate storylines. Ben Warren might get a renewed surgical path thanks to the chaos, which also suggests Miranda Bailey is in the clear. But the real suspense centers on Atticus Link Lincoln. He was in the operating room during the blast, and both Amelia and Joe are confirmed to have major emotional reactions tied to his outcome. Does that mean Link's death is inevitable, or are the writers teasing too hard? Some fans believe killing Link would be too predictable, especially with Joe pregnant with twins. The bigger twist may be that he survives, while someone else faces unexpected consequences, or no one at all. After all, the last major death was Andrew DeLuca back in Season 17, meaning it's been years since Grey's delivered a devastating exit. Meanwhile, other characters like Jules, Simone, Lucas, and Monica seem safe based on behind-the-scenes shots and early stills. And in a lighter turn, Season May 21st have already cemented Jules as Christina Yang's perfect replacement, blunt, ambitious, and independent, but still carving her own unique path. So, does Grey's Anatomy need to kill someone to keep fans invested? Or could survival itself be the shocking twist this time around? Drop your theories in the comments. Should Grey Sloan lose another doctor, or has the show earned a break from heartbreak? Hey lovely viewers, welcome to our channel Grey's Anatomy Official. Will Grey's Anatomy actually kill someone with that explosion? With Grey's Anatomy Season 22's premiere just a couple of weeks away at this point, the clues about what to expect from the return after that big explosion have continued piling up. But what do they point to? Well, the latest is this. TV Line spoke to the season's showrunner, Meg Marinis, who hinted at a couple of Grey Sloan Memorial surgeons' fates. In the interview, she revealed that Teddy Altman, Kim Raver, and Owen Hunt, Kevin McKidd, will lead separate lives after their big breakup scene, which means both of them are almost certainly in the clear. Marinis also indicated that Ben Warren, Jason George, might be getting a second lease on surgical life with Teddy as a result of the explosion chaos. She may not have been seeing what he has to offer, she said. So that means Miranda Bailey, Chunder Wilson, is probably going to be fine. The biggest question is, of course, whether Atticus Link Lincoln, Chris Carmack, will survive since he was in an actual operating room at the time of the blast. To TV Line, Marinis confirmed that both Amelia Shepard, Katerina Scorsone, and Joe Wilson, Camilla Luddington, will have major reactions to Link's outcome. But what that is remains unclear. Couple that with this tease from the showrunner's interview with Entertainment Weekly, we clearly saw Link in immediate danger. We'll just have to see whether Link makes it through this explosion. At this point, it's starting to feel like a thou doth protest too much style situation where Link's death would just be too obvious. The real subversion of expectation would be if he survived to see his twin daughters with Joe born, despite being squarely in the midst of danger, and it was someone else who perished, or no one at all. Elsewhere, there are signs that Monica Beltran, Natalie Morales, will be okay thanks to a behind-the-scenes shot, and Jules Millen, Adelaide Kane, was right next to her at the time. Simone Griffith, Alexis Floyd, didn't look like she'd just lost her boyfriend in a catastrophe in the first Season 22 stills, so Lucas Adams, Nico Taro, could also be fine. Nothing is certain about any of this, of course, but we're starting to wonder whether there'll actually be any casualties of the explosion at all. We've been repeatedly promised chaos, but that doesn't necessarily mean carnage. But if Link survives, and everyone else does too, would that be too much of a bait and switch after a summer full of nail-biting anticipation? Grey's Anatomy has certainly set a precedent that few characters have true plot armor, so does the show need to kill off a character after leaving us on that explosive end to maintain the inertia of the show? After all, it's been a while. The last major character to die on Grey's was Andrew DeLuca, Giacomo Gianniotti, in Season 17. Or is it better if everyone emerges unscathed, despite the severity of the incident? Hit the poll below to weigh in with your vote. Grey's Anatomy Season 21 cemented Christina Yang's perfect replacement. Few new characters in Grey's Anatomy are as iconic as the medical drama's original ones, but Grey's Anatomy Season 21 seemingly confirmed one as Christina Yang's replacement more than a decade after Sandra Oh's exit. Although Meredith Grey lending her name to the medical drama establishes her as its indisputable protagonist, Grey's Anatomy wouldn't have been the same without Christina. Christina's measured no-nonsense approach counteracted Meredith's drama, and her devotion to her career was an unflinching guiding light for Grey's Anatomy's first 10 years on air. Grey's Anatomy even attempted to recreate Christina and Meredith's friendship with moderate yet not long-lasting success, but it took some time for it to introduce a character whose dedication and peculiar qualities match Christina's. Jules Millen and Christina Yang share so many key qualities besides their specialty choice. Ever since she first appeared on screen, Christina had no doubt she wanted to become a cardiothoracic surgeon. Her certainty about her specialty choice never wavered, and while other residents followed in her footsteps, no resident came close to being as sure as Christina as Jules Millen was about cardiothoracic surgery in Grey's Anatomy Season 21. Beyond their specialty choice, how Simone's friendship with Jules developed mirrored Meredith and Christina's. Indeed, like Christina's abortion established Meredith as her person, Jules almost losing Mika in the accident prompted Simone to step up and support her. Their friendship becoming more consistent, and their reactions oddly resembling Meredith and Christina's dark and twisty moments cemented them as their replacements. Among Magic, Meredith was the gateway to Christina, with the others not easily relating to her. Christina's drive to achieve her goals and her independence made her more aloof, and Grey's Anatomy Season 21 highlighted that in Jules too. In Grey's Anatomy Seasons 19, 20, and 21, Jules hung out with the other interns only through Mika or Simone's intervention. Grey's Anatomy Season 21 emphasized how Jules and Simone's connection mirrored Christina and Meredith's in the oddest of ways, as the more recent duo was also just as unusual as the original one. Jules's self-sufficiency in Grey's Anatomy Season 21 mirrored Christina's. Even more interestingly, Jules's bizarre bluntness made her more similar to Christina, as her answer that she'd pay for Lucas's drink when he and Simone broke up in Grey's Anatomy Season 21, Episode 13 proved. Jules's family history even highlights why she ended up being so independent, just like Christina. Grey's Anatomy heavily highlighted Jules's evidence-based approach in contrast with her family's history and behavior, with their irreconcilable differences making her into the character she is. As organizing her wedding with Burke proved, Christina also had little in common with her mother, making this another glaring similarity with Jules, which Grey's Anatomy Season 22 can continue to delve into. How Jules' differences from Christina helped making her a more interesting character. While it may have highlighted the incredible points of contact between them, Grey's Anatomy Season 21 also emphasized the differences between Christina and Jules. Christina's dedication to cardiothoracic surgery was never in doubt, but it also never stopped her from developing romantic relationships with other surgeons. Instead, Jules's decision to pursue cardiothoracic surgery came after swearing off one-night stands and romantic relationships following the heartbreak of Mika's departure from Seattle in Grey's Anatomy Season 21. This, along with Jules's challenge of Ndugu after he admitted he was developing feelings for her, highlighted another massive difference from Christina, who had little qualms about getting involved with Burke. Jules's dissimilarities with Christina can nevertheless make her more interesting. With Grey's Anatomy Season 21 cementing her as Christina's replacement, Season 22 can expand Jules as a character beyond her romantic connections and family failures. Starting from their differences, Grey's Anatomy can turn Jules into something more than a replacement, keeping Christina's key characteristics while also letting Jules's uniqueness shine. Enjoy Screen Rant's primetime coverage? Click below to sign up for our weekly Network TV newsletter. Make sure to check Network TV in your preferences and get the inside scoop from actors and showrunners on your favorite series. Grey's Anatomy Season 22 premiere, cast shake UPS, and the show's diversity legacy. Grey's Anatomy Season 22 is almost here, and fans are buzzing with anticipation over the show's latest twists, returning cast members, and long-running legacy of on-screen diversity. With spoilers, premiere dates, and behind-the-scenes insights surfacing, the long-running ABC medical drama is proving that it still has plenty of life left in it. Season 22 premiere date and story teasers. Grey's Anatomy Season 22 premieres on Thursday, October 9th, 2025. The premiere will pick up after last season's cliffhanger, setting the stage for a dramatic return to Grey Sloan Memorial Hospital. Teasers point to a shocking incident, with multiple characters fighting for survival after an explosion rocks the hospital. Screen Rant has revealed first-look images showing the aftermath of the explosion, with survivors facing critical injuries and tension running high. Fan polls: should a character be killed off? The question of whether Season 22 will see a major character's death has sparked debate. TV Insider even ran a poll asking fans if the series should kill off another longtime Doctor, noting how past departures have both refreshed the series and left deep scars on its fanbase. The show has never shied away from bold decisions, and season May 22nd continue that tradition. Cast and character updates. Camilla Luddington, who plays Jo Wilson, confirmed her character's pivotal role in the new season. In her conversation with E! Online, she described the premiere as one of the most intense openings we've had in years, teasing storylines that will test Jo's resilience both in and out of the operating room. Diversity and Shonda Rhimes' legacy. Grey's Anatomy's cultural impact continues to be a talking point. Creator Shonda Rhimes insisted from the start that the cast reflect real-world diversity. This commitment has helped Grey's Anatomy maintain its relevance for more than 2 decades, showcasing representation across race, gender, and sexuality. The show's approach to casting and storytelling has been a defining part of its legacy. Looking ahead, the enduring legacy. Grey's Anatomy Season 22 isn't just about fresh drama, but also about continuing its legacy of inclusivity and medical storytelling. With 21 seasons behind it, the series remains one of television's most enduring dramas, adapting to new cultural landscapes while retaining its emotional core. Related. Grey's Anatomy Season 22, premiere date, cast comebacks and new cliffhangers. Grey's Anatomy Season 22 premieres on Thursday, October 9th, 2025 on ABC. Fans can expect a season filled with shocking moments, heartfelt drama, and a continuation of the show's trailblazing commitment to diversity. After more than 400 episodes, Grey's Anatomy still has plenty of stories left to tell. Grey's Anatomy's most hated character won't be dying in the explosion. We know of one Grey's Anatomy character who will stick around after that explosion. The countdown is on to the Grey's Anatomy Season 22 premiere, which is set to pick up straight off the back of the Season 21 finale. That explosion continues to play on our minds, as we prepare to lose some of our favorite characters. In all the speculation of who will and won't make it, we now know that Grey Sloan Memorial's most hated doctor is not going anywhere. After all, not all of the characters were in the hospital at the time of the explosion, and there's plenty more to explore with some of the big reveals that happened at the end of the season. We're talking about Kevin McKidd's Owen Hunt. He is definitely back in Grey's Anatomy Season 22. Owen and Teddy need to figure out what comes next in Grey's Anatomy. At the end of Grey's Anatomy Season 21, Teddy and Owen realized that their open marriage wasn't working. Well, Teddy realized it wasn't what she wanted after all, but Owen had already slept with someone else, sticking with the rules the two had set up when Owen didn't even want to do it in the first place. In a TV Line preview of what's to come, showrunner Meg Marinis shares that Teddy and Owen will be leading separate lives in the wake of the revelations. They need to figure out if there is a way back together, as they both acknowledge the way they've felt for some time, especially with the open marriage idea. At the same time, they'll need to co-parent. We have seen some successful co-parenting relationships in Grey's Anatomy, especially between Amelia and Link. Is it possible that these two can figure out how to make this co-parenting relationship work, or will their toxicity get the better of them? Nora and Cass could both return. At the same time, Marinis teased some returning characters for Teddy and Owen's story. One of those is Nora, who went through major surgery at the end of the 21st season. It looks like she's safe after the explosion in the hospital, but she will face a big recovery, and with Owen now single, it's possible that the two of them can attempt a relationship in all of this. Then there's Cass, who Marinis would love to see back. This will depend on Sophia Bush's availability, though, as she is gearing up for the One Tree Hill revival, as well as running her podcast that she does with various One Tree Hill cast members. But for those who were hoping that Grey's Anatomy's explosion would be a good chance to get rid of Owen Hunt, that's not happening. That man has to be a cat with multiple lives. How many does he have left? Grey's Anatomy star Eric Dane has ALS. What is it? What are the symptoms? And what has he said about it? The actor initially thought weakness in his right hand was from texting too much. Actor Eric Dane is battling amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, or ALS. I have been diagnosed with ALS, the 52-year-old Grey's Anatomy alum said in April. I am grateful to have my loving family by my side as we navigate this next chapter. The actor said he felt fortunate that he is able to continue working despite the diagnosis. He added he was looking forward to returning to the set of Euphoria, which he did 2 weeks after his announcement. I kindly ask that you give my family and I privacy during this time. Dane is just one of 5,000 Americans diagnosed with ALS each year, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Here's what to know about the condition. What is ALS? What are the symptoms? ALS, also referred to as Lou Gehrig's disease after the Yankees baseball player who was diagnosed with the condition in 1939, is a progressive neurodegenerative disease. According to the Cleveland Clinic, the disease targets the neurons in your brain and spinal cord, which leads to muscle control issues. Eventually, the condition causes your muscles to atrophy, including those that impact breathing. While Dane's first symptom was weakness in his right hand, ALS symptoms can vary from person to person and depend on which nerve cells are affected, per the Mayo Clinic. Typically, the condition starts with muscle weakness, such as in the legs, feet, ankles, or hands, that slowly worsens over time and can lead to difficulty walking. Some people with the condition may also notice muscle cramps or twitching in areas like the arms, shoulders, or tongue. Speech may be impacted or slurred as well. Changes in thinking or behavior can also occur as the disease progresses. The progression of the disease varies greatly from person to person. However, most people with ALS die due to respiratory failure within 3 to 5 years after symptoms begin. About 30% will live 5 years, and 13% will survive 10 years after the onset of symptoms, according to Yale Medicine. More than 31,000 people live with ALS in the U.S. each year. While 5,000 people a year are diagnosed with ALS in the United States, more than 31,000 people are living with it, according to the American Medical Association. Only about 10% of ALS cases are hereditary, meaning a gene linked to ALS is passed down. However, children of those with the gene have a 50% chance of inheriting it, the Mayo Clinic said. Little is known about what causes non-hereditary ALS, which is the majority of cases. However, there are certain known risk factors that may increase your chances of developing the condition. More in Health, ALS is most often diagnosed in people between the ages of 60 and the mid-80s, with risk increasing steadily until about age 75. Men are slightly more likely to develop ALS before age 65, but that difference disappears by age 70. Environmental factors also play a role, with people who smoke at higher risk. There's also some evidence that exposure to toxins like lead or certain workplace chemicals may raise the risk of developing ALS. Additionally, military veterans are more likely to be diagnosed with ALS, though the exact cause is unclear. Is there any cure or treatment for ALS? While there is no cure for ALS at the moment, treatments are improving. Medications may help slow the progression of the disease, and new gene therapies for genetic forms of the disease have shown promise as well. In addition, physical therapy, speech therapy, and nutritional support can help mitigate symptoms and help people continue to talk, walk, and function as the disease progresses. Organizations continue to fund ALS research to develop the next generation of treatments. In 2014, the Ice Bucket Challenge went viral on social media, with more than 17 million people helping to raise over $115 million for the ALS Association. That funding supported breakthroughs in gene discovery and treatment development. What has Eric Dane said about living with ALS? In a conversation with Diane Sawyer that aired in June on Good Morning America, Dane shared his experience living with the condition, telling Sawyer that he started experiencing some weakness in his right hand, which he assumed came from texting too much. However, 9 months after seeking an answer from hand specialists and neurologists, he learned that it was ALS that was affecting his motor function. Now Dane's right side has completely stopped working. He believes he won't be able to use his left side in mere months. I'm angry because, my father was taken from me when I was young, and now there's a very good chance I'm going to be taken from my girls while they're very young. Dane said about his own father, who died from a gunshot wound when he was a child. "I mean, really at the end of the day, all I want to do is spend time with my family and work a little bit if I can." On September 15th, the star of The Last Ship appeared in an Instagram video for the organization I Am ALS to share a message encouraging more research into the disease. "I'm Eric Dane, an actor, a father, and now a person living with ALS," he said in the video. "For over a century, ALS has been incurable, and we're done accepting the status quo. We need the fastest path to a cure." Watch. Eric Dane calls for more ALS research after missing Emmys. September 16th, UPI. Countdown, Euphoria and Grey's Anatomy actor Eric Dane is calling for more government funding for ALS research and treatment. Dane, 52, announced in April that he had been diagnosed with the debilitating motor neuron disease. "We're thrilled to announce Push for Progress, a groundbreaking campaign to accelerate ALS research, expand access to treatments, and secure $1 billion in federal funding for ALS over the next 3 years," Dane wrote on Instagram Monday, a day after he missed a scheduled appearance as a presenter at the Emmy Awards ceremony in Hollywood. I Am ALS, called the most successful patient advocacy movement of the 21st century, is launching this campaign now because ALS is at a tipping point. New treatments are within reach, but thousands of people living with ALS will lose access unless we take action. Deadline.com said Dane had been scheduled to present an award at the Emmys with his former Grey's co-star Jesse Williams, but backed out at the last minute. The actor has not publicly said why he missed the high-profile event. Grey's Anatomy Season 22 premiere, cast shake UPS, and the show's diversity legacy. Grey's Anatomy Season 22 is almost here, and fans are buzzing with anticipation over the show's latest twists, returning cast members, and long-running legacy of on-screen diversity. With spoilers, premiere dates, and behind-the-scenes insights surfacing, the long-running ABC medical drama is proving that it still has plenty of life left in it. Season 22 premiere date and story teasers. Grey's Anatomy Season 22 premieres on Thursday, October 9th, 2025. The premiere will pick up after last season's cliffhanger, setting the stage for a dramatic return to Grey Sloan Memorial Hospital. Teasers point to a shocking incident, with multiple characters fighting for survival after an explosion rocks the hospital. Screen Rant has revealed first-look images showing the aftermath of the explosion, with survivors facing critical injuries and tension running high. Fan polls. Should a character be killed off? The question of whether Season 22 will see a major character's death has sparked debate. TV Insider even ran a poll asking fans if the series should kill off another longtime Doctor, noting how past departures have both refreshed the series and left deep scars on its fanbase. The show has never shied away from bold decisions, and season May 22nd continue that tradition. Cast and character updates. Camilla Luddington, who plays Jo Wilson, confirmed her character's pivotal role in the new season. In her conversation with E! Online, she described the premiere as one of the most intense openings we've had in years, teasing storylines that will test Jo's resilience both in and out of the operating room. Diversity and Shonda Rhimes' legacy. Grey's Anatomy's cultural impact continues to be a talking point. Creator Shonda Rhimes insisted from the start that the cast reflect real-world diversity. This commitment has helped Grey's Anatomy maintain its relevance for more than 2 decades, showcasing representation across race, gender, and sexuality. The show's approach to casting and storytelling has been a defining part of its legacy. Looking ahead, the enduring legacy. Grey's Anatomy Season 22 isn't just about fresh drama, but also about continuing its legacy of inclusivity and medical storytelling. With 21 seasons behind it, the series remains one of television's most enduring dramas, adapting to new cultural landscapes while retaining its emotional core. Related. Grey's Anatomy Season 22, premiere date, cast comebacks and new cliffhangers. Grey's Anatomy Season 22 premieres on Thursday, October 9th, 2025 on ABC. Fans can expect a season filled with shocking moments, heartfelt drama, and a continuation of the show's trailblazing commitment to diversity. After more than 400 episodes, Grey's Anatomy still has plenty of stories left to tell. Shonda Rhimes fought to keep Grey's Anatomy from becoming an all-white show during casting process. Shonda Rhimes refused to budge when it came to her vision for Grey's Anatomy, even if that meant confronting a network president. While participating in the HBO documentary Seen and Heard, The History of Black Television, the Shondaland mastermind reflected on the casting process for the groundbreaking medical drama, admitting that it didn't get off to the best start. "I'd done something I guess people didn't do. I hadn't written anyone's race into the script," Rhimes said, explaining that her omission led to the initial casting call being flooded with white actors. "They would keep sending us these actors who all look the same, who are white," she recalled. "I remember standing up in the room and looking at the president of the network at the time and saying, 'I'm not going to have an all-white show.'" Rhimes said everyone in the room was really startled by her remarks and insisted that she had nothing to fear. "Of course not, of course not. That's never been the plan." But her outburst had an immediate impact. Once Rhimes voiced her concerns, the studio reached out to agencies to clarify, "We want to see everyone." Not only was the change visible, it led to the show finding its iconic cast. "This flood of actors started coming," she shared. "It was really wonderful. We got to see all these actors who had never been considered for roles other than very small parts." Grey's Anatomy launched with a cast that included Ellen Pompeo, Sandra Oh, Chandra Wilson, Katherine Heigl, James Pickens Jr., T.R. Knight, Patrick Dempsey, Isaiah Washington, and Justin Chambers. Atop its many accolades, the show remains the longest-running scripted primetime show as it heads into its 22nd season. "I just knew I wasn't going to make a show I'd be embarrassed to put on TV," Rhimes said of the show's diversity. "I wasn't going to turn to my parents and say, 'Yeah, it has an all-white cast, but that's just how TV is made.' How could I say that to my dad?" Rhimes, who has since brought a similar colorblind casting approach to an empire of shows that includes Bridgerton's, Scandal, and How to Get Away with Murder, added, "When you're trying to be creative in a world in which you are afraid, I think a fearlessness is necessary." Rhimes' fearlessness paid off. The show about the fictional doctors of Seattle's Gray Sloan Memorial Hospital quickly grabbed its audience and, 2 decades later, hasn't let go. Earlier this year, Rhimes spoke to Entertainment Weekly about the early days of creating Grey's Anatomy, long before she understood what a life-changing project she had embarked on. "You have to understand, I had zero experience in television. I didn't even realize how it all worked with studios and networks and who you're supposed to suck up to," she said. "I didn't understand any of that. But I thought the pilot was really good, and I knew that I wanted to see it." Rhimes added, "I wasn't even thinking about will the audience think it's really good? I hadn't gotten there yet. I think the moment I realized we were special in some way was they were doing audience testing with the pilot. It used to be that they'd bring you in and there'd be this screen and the audience would be on the other side and they'd be turning dials as they watched the show. And so we were there in real time watching it and the trajectory kept going up, 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 and it never dipped. Somebody turned to me and said, 'This has literally never happened in the history of ABC. Where are all of the actors?'" Shonda Rhimes recalls pushing for diversity in Grey's Anatomy casting. Grey's Anatomy is celebrating 20 years on television this year, as its 22nd season is primed to hit the 2025 TV calendar next month. The anniversary celebration plan for the Emmy Awards may have fallen through, but creator Shonda Rhimes is still looking back at the past couple of decades at what the show has accomplished. Grey's Anatomy has always been noteworthy for its diverse cast, and Rhimes recalls how she pushed for that to happen. In the documentary Seen and Heard, The History of Black Television, available to stream with an HBO Max subscription, Shonda Rhimes said when they were auditioning actors back in the early 2000s, she hadn't written any of the characters' races into the script, and she was perplexed when only white actors came in to read for roles. She said, "I kept saying, 'Where are all of the actors?' They would keep sending us these actors who all looked the same, who are white. I remember standing up in the room and turning around and looking at the president of the network at the time and saying, 'I'm not going to have an all-white show.' This flood of actors started to come in, and it was really wonderful. We got to see all these actors who had never been considered for roles other than very small parts before." Shonda Rhimes has said it makes her embarrassed for television, that part of her legacy and that of Grey's Anatomy will be that they made it possible for more people of color to have on-camera jobs on television, because it shouldn't have taken so long. Before Grey's Anatomy premiered in 2005, you didn't see 3 black characters: Chandra Wilson's Miranda Bailey, James Pickens Jr. as Richard Webber, and Isaiah Washington's Preston Burke, in main roles, holding prestigious jobs in the hospital. It was something Shonda Rhimes said she could be proud of. In her words, I just knew that I was not going to make a show that I would have been embarrassed to put on TV. I wasn't going to make a show that I would have to turn to my parents and go, yeah, it has an all-white cast, but that's how TV's made. Like, how was I going to say that to my dad? The diversity on the show has continued during its 2 decades on ABC, featuring doctors and patients of many races, as well as LGBTQ+ and non-binary characters. Grey's Anatomy has tackled issues like AAPI, Asian American and Pacific Islander, hate, racial injustice, gender discrimination, and abuse. Grey's Anatomy-esque Camilla Luddington reveals why Jo and Link's love story is very reminiscent of my own. Exclusive, Camilla Luddington is ready for a Jo-Link baby, just like fans of Grey's Anatomy. The actress, 40, tells people that she was so excited when she found out her character was pregnant at the end of season 20, even though Jo kept it a secret from her boyfriend Atticus Link Lincoln, Chris Carmack. I'm fully Team Jo-Link. I just love them as a couple, she gushes. I mean, I'm very biased about this situation because I met my husband Matthew Allen waiting tables. We were best friends and then we've ended up. Obviously, we're married now with kids. So that storyline of theirs being very reminiscent of my own, I'm like so team them. Thanks for watching this videos. Please hit the subscribe button and give this video